Welcome to Bitcoin Spike. This is London. Let's go over the details. Looking at some altcoins here just a minute, but we're going to tune into BTC and Dogecoin a little bit. Dogecoin gets some action. We're excited about that. VIP, our top level of membership. I can confirm that the VIP hit the absolute low Doge target in the market. Way to go, VIP. Let me schedule in here with the different charts. Let me make sure we have kind of an interesting situation, guys, in terms of BTC. We have a technical breakout on the 4 hourly. It's a nice set that we just had on the daily. Let's look at the daily in terms of this daily chart as well, in terms of, I don't want to say mixed messages, but in terms of the overall technicals, we have a quite a challenge on the hands of the traders. We're going to go through the details. We're going to talk about the breakout on the, let's go through this, guys. You're going to love this stream. Hope you guys are doing well. Look forward to, and let me introduce myself. My name is London. Former financial professional, not financial advice. You guys know that. Harvard Business School, Duke University, certified in markets. We will go through crypto as well as anybody is our goal. And we just reference our VIP traders, number one in crypto, period. We don't have to even qualify that. Top of the food chain in terms of biggest whale around you're going to find in terms of a top trader, guys. Just very nice to have Angel Matos, a top shelf VIP here with Bitcoin Spike. He is a good friend and is, in terms of crypto, guys, he means business. He got involved in Bitcoin. He invested in Bitcoin at $7.79. What is up, my man? How are you? So in terms of these cross differentials, kind of the cross signals we're looking at, Bitcoin is in a very interesting predicament right now. We're going to go through the details. We're on a micro pattern. We'll discuss that micro pattern in addition to these specific lines I've just laid out. Okay, those lines are very important. They're on different time frames. It's been doing this. 2022 is full of surprises for the traders. Let me get into the actual chats. Appreciate you guys hitting the like button. Very nice of you guys. And in terms of Doge, what's up, No Torque? Yeah, early stream. Nice. Listening on the drive home. I'm going to say thanks, Torque. Very nice. Very nice to have you continually in the live streams, etc. And No Torque is a base camper, the bottom level. But I'd say the initial level. Let's not say the bottom level. You guys, some of you guys do extremely well in terms of your trading. So congratulations, No Torque, anyone else who is around. And it's good. We had a request from Pathfinder. Pathfinder's over in Slovenia. He's a VIP. He says, in London, can we please do the stream a little bit earlier? I say, yeah, we can. He says, what time? Well, how about in 2 hours? I say, well, people coming home from work, etc. It's like they'll be in traffic, but yeah, I wanted to accommodate Pathfinder just a little bit today. He's really great in the back in terms of chart work, etc. So without a doubt, we'll stream a little bit earlier for Path and watch. I hope he's not coming home from work or something like that as well. That would be the oddity of it all, wouldn't it? So I'm going to draw out a few lines here in terms of TA. You guys know trend lines are your friends a lot. That will establish your lines of support, your lines of resistance. If you have a favorite time frame that you like to stick with, make sure of one thing that you check your different time frames. Always check your different time frames. If you listen to Angel, he will let you know he's on the 15-second quite frequently. On the 15-second, assessing the price action. We normally don't go to the 15-second live. It can be a little bit too detailed. You have to really be into your trade game to appreciate that lower level time frame. However, when we look at BTC currently just off a few points in the day, we had off a few parts of a point. By a point, I mean 1%. If you say it's up a point. Up a point means up 1%, just in terms of market lingo. If you say, well, I put on about a point today. Yesterday, I put on about 2 points, like 2.45, right? Exactly. In terms of like the lingo in the market, etc. You guys know, not financial advice, but we say, well, it's up a point. That means up 1%. Okay, just so that you know, we got a point on a on a $150 stock. Okay, good. You got a point on a $150 stock of 1%, right? Just so you know, in terms of that lingo. So when I say 0.23% down, that still means 0.23% down, decimal 23%. So if I ever use that colloquial, just know that I'm using kind of the industry terminology, okay? What we're looking at with VIP in the back is this specific rising wedge, okay? That specified rising wedge has been broken out up and above. All right, I brought that to them this morning in terms of just highlighting. Let's go back over and review real quickly. And a lot of success on the board, guys, from, we're going to talk last, several weeks from Luna to Rune to Dot to Phantom. We have got a lot in the cooker in terms of kind of our favorite coins to address. Ethereum is in a nice pattern, guys, broken out of a very nice pattern. Do not let that go unnoticed. Ethereum has gone up and out of on most of the time frames. This is one feature that Ethereum currently has over BTC, and we can also put in the framework here, Doge, which is a little bit of negative price action here, but I do want to cover Doge today. It's just a nice, it's doing nicely. Okay, so in addition, you guys need to know that yes, VIP hit the bottom level target on Doge. Way to go, VIP. That is VIP in terms of value. If we could do that on every coin, we're happy to. In terms of targeting, you should be able to pull it off, guys. You should be able to pull that off. I'm going to tell you, now, we didn't exactly get the low here. Would have required a core acquisition in terms of BTC. On the 4-hourly, we do have that specific pivot right there on the 4-hourly. So very close on that 4-hourly. Within that 4-hourly time frame, we actually set on our low target below the 50%, below those Fibonacci's. Really exciting to see VIP continue to hammer it when I say the low in the market on Dogecoin. And in terms of it, let's cover real quickly where BTC is at, then we'll cover where Doge is at. We're seeing a little bit of this rounding, typical standard rounding function in terms of BTC. When it finds a new level, you guys know it likes to start to grind. As it does so, it will form micro patterns. You know that, right? What we like are big patterns. I normally say the bigger the pattern, the bigger the expected move. You guys know that. And as we would look at the just the micro features that's available on your right-hand side, you'll see that. The micro feature, the micro pattern that's going on. But you know, once we establish a new level, boom, like to establish that level, and it does. Bitcoin likes to push and wind and this and that. It likes to essentially consolidate. And amidst these smaller feature consolidations, when you get a real micro, this is the 5-minute, when you get a real micro expression in terms of a pattern that you're familiar with, and it just is, let's say on the 5-minute, you've just reached a new level, and you've reached that level and you're ready to trade, and you get a pattern, you know it's the pattern, be very careful on the lower time frames. Absolutely, extremely careful on these lower time frames, because it will like to operate kind of as clickbait. Okay, it'll give you a pattern, just clickbait, bam, you're into another trade. Darn it, it didn't play as a macro pattern. Remember, pattern, right? Remember that the larger the pattern, the larger the expected move. All right, we can go through the details on that. I like this chart right now with the purple underneath just because it represents the 30 on the RSI. You guys know that specific pattern. Type in 3060, 30-60 on your indicators, and it's Abdomi, A-B-D-O-M-I. Check that out just so you can kind of visualize where things are at. Okay, it's very interesting to be to not have to look separate and apart from your charts in terms of your RSI. Normally, it's in a different. Let me get back through here, but in a different panel below, and you have to look down here. You have to look up here, down here, up here. You have to let the crosshairs in terms of the line follow below and above. We don't want to necessarily do that. We want to consolidate that to the extent that we can and visualize directly without losing the essence or the focus on the actual price action itself. So that's a key that I would recommend that you guys put into play in your on your specific charts. This recommendation, try it out. So tell me what you think in terms of that recommendation. Would like to hear back from you on that Abdomi, A-B-D-O-M-I, in terms of that specific framework. You can always adjust it. We'll adjust a little bit here before we look at Doge. And in terms of Doge, in terms of BTC, in terms of AXS, had a killer day yesterday. What was that, guys? 20% over 20% during one part of the day. Just nice move by AXS. It was due. You guys know this. Let me hide this real quickly on this chart. We're going to go through the current pattern formation here, and I have a few different lines that we had discussed yesterday. Just shout out to the VIP, all the base campers. So if you guys are doing well, this is Bitcoin spike. We like to catch those spikes. That's the bottom line. And for those of you who are in base camp, looking forward to you jumping on up into the crew VIP. Literally, guys, I'm looking forward to that in 2022. It's going to be fun. I don't know what you're waiting for, but VIP are just tearing it up in the back. I love the charts, love the crew. Very, very good group thus far this year. Very nice. In terms of BTC, we're in a micro pattern. When you look at it from like the 77-minute, that's my favorite time frame to reference, cross-reference. But looking at the hourly, we've started a pattern just a touch on the hourly, just very, very lightly on the hourly. You'll see here, and the reason why I use this, we'll put this to work on the Doge chart as well that we'll cover in just a second. And for people who want either Bitcoin, that's it, or Dogecoin, that's it, man, we like, you have no idea how many coins we like. How about Rebel Robot? You guys like Rebel Robot? Did you catch that on Gate? That went up 30x. Did you guys not like that one? You didn't want to talk about that one? I don't know. I don't know, guys. You got to keep an open mind. You got to keep the open mind on that price action. That's a killer there, guys. A big deal. So be aware, be open-minded. Maybe you can make some money on a different coin that you're not just emotionally tied to so much. That's one thing when people just tune out altogether. It's like, no, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear about that coin. Kind of tells me maybe they're involved in kind of an emotional framework with the market. I don't want to hear that all the time. If there is something with price action, we're going to take a look at it here. It has to have that dev team, utility, the framework of management, etc. Elon being involved in Bitcoin and Dogecoin, etc. It makes it simple. He's also involved in Ethereum. We've been talking about Ethereum quite a bit. Looking at this move to the upside, was glad that I let you know during the formation of the bull flag to the downside. Bam, it did complete to the upside. Remember on those candle wicks how important in 2022, you guys know this, you always got to check those candle wicks, right? People were waiting for a confirmation down here. We were streaming back and forth on a designated time frame. Bam, we did get this specific, and it should be on all time frames. I will say on the hourly, let's check the 30-minute again, but what a slight confirmation. Yeah, the 30-minute also has it. Use those preceding wicks, not the body of the candle, the wicks. Bam, to the upside. Boom, we got it right here, right? That confirmation occurred slightly on the wicks, almost no confirmation. Remember, confirmation is turning that preceding line, that top line, from resistance, that which we cannot get up and beyond, to support, and boom, okay? Folding around the top there, bam, to the upside. And we have Pathfinder. What's up, brother? I want to let you know I streamed a little bit early. I wanted to let you know that. Pathfinder, I streamed early for you. I hope this is a better time for you because I know you're overseas, but it's nice to know that VIP are international. There we go. I'm going to put that down in the chat just a second, just to catalog. That is not even a word, guys. Catalog. There we go. I've been hanging out with the wrong friends during the daytime, huh? I know I'm not at night, but maybe I'm hanging out with the wrong friends during the daytime. Catalog, sure. There you go. That's what Duke Education and everything else will get you with Harvard Business School. Catalog. Sorry about that, guys. Maybe I was thinking which country you were in. It's like, I'm not sure I know that language, but I probably got close there. So it's Slovenia, I believe. So it's nice to have you, Pathfinder. Hopefully the hour here will help. I think it's funny how catalog. Not really. Anyway, let's talk about the price action. Boom, move to the upside in terms of, I'll laugh at myself as much as anyone else can laugh at me. I promise you that. In terms of this amplitude move to the upside, bam, always, and guys, I never take myself too seriously, just so you know, if some streams or something else is going on, it seems like, well, London take himself so seriously. Little do you know, you probably don't know the half of me in terms of how that statement probably isn't true in terms of me taking myself really seriously. Not all the time, guys. I like to joke around a lot, right? I've got a tongue-in-cheek, quite a bit, thick skin, and I like to have fun in terms of just everything that's said for the most part. So just enjoy your time in VIP, enjoy your time here, and Path, hopefully this earlier stream will be more accommodating to you. Looking at the framework that BTC was in, you guys know that I raised your attention in that video, for the bull flag. I raised your attention while we were still formulating the bull flag, okay, in terms of the move to the upside to incorporate the candles, right? I definitely stated incorporate those candles, watch that candle framework in terms of the overall entirety of that upside price action. There was another level of resistance across the top. Now, what's interesting in terms of the overall completion, we'll note this for the record with BTC as we look at this trade and future trades. This bull flag did work out exactly on the candles. Take the candle, the full amplitude, the entire amplitude on the candle wicks, very nicely stacked that to the bottom threshold of the support line, and bam, literally, guys, boom, met target perfectly, like with down into the cents, okay? Literal no dollar difference cents. You guys can measure that, but on my screen it's 100% down to the cents. So very, very nice to see that. And we're coming off of just a very nice bullish pattern previously here, right? We'll look at this previous bull flag here. Anytime we can just get in a run with bull flags, it's like, this is going on. This is a good thing, right? This is what we want to. This is how we love to trade. Nice, clean trades. Clean expectations, etc. We really enjoy that. A little bit of I'd say a help with that we had in terms of this specific rising wedge. That was a nice call, guys. When you can throw a nice countervailing or contravening that goes against, right? It goes against the bull flag. This specific bearish wedge, rising wedge, and capture that specific move. That's just a critical function. So we're going to go over that right now on BTC. We'll probably delve into Doge real quickly. Let's take a look at Doge since I keep mentioning it and I haven't gotten there yet. I wanted to kind of complete the cycle here in terms of BTC. So in terms of BTC, we're along another line of resistance across the top, currently formulating, I'd say on the hourly. I'd like to look at the hourly. Yeah, just an upward slanting, and it probably got some orders here when it was trying to pop out of a nice small on the hourly. Still small though, guys. Small bull pennant. Run to the upside in the symmetrical triangulation across the top, right? So we would just look for more patterning. We would like to receive more patterning as the momentum slows down. That's a key indicator for us. We want more patterning. I just tell you, okay, when the momentum and the trajectory and the velocity slows down, that means I want more patterning, typically, okay, because that can cost you some money just to go ahead and pull the trigger, bam, even if you prefer to have that allocated amount of money in a different trade, okay? So looking at the 1 hourly, right, you might tie your money up in a trade that does need to consolidate more, while you could still, purview the market, still take a look at the entirety, prospect the market, right? So looking at this nice, yes, it is a technical, but look how consolidated on the 1 hourly, this specific framework of the consolidation, a little bit slanted to the upside, right, in terms of this bull pennant. We would typically expect a bull pennant to be just that perfect symmetrical triangulation, right? So a little bit of deviation there. Looking into the 30-minute, we do have a better line across the top in terms of if we were to extend this pattern a bit on the 30-minute, it comes into focus a bit more in terms of the nature of the potential and just, again, of the bull pennant. We would match up this lower hit along support with the top level to allow it to communicate to us the indication that it may be in the process of forming a symmetrical triangulation after a move up, which is a bull pennant. So that's very, very nice. We'll keep that on the screen. We'll go to the 5 minutes to reconfirm that, but we are up and out of the top of a wedge formation, constriction to the top, okay? We do have, and just so we fully cover BTC, then we'll go on to some other coins. We may cover quite a few coins tonight, just to really make sure that people are aware of what's going on in the overall market. That's really crucial for us, particularly Doge. We'll talk about Doge. We'll talk about the targets on the downside. I want to make sure, because we just love trading Doge. We just do. As much as we love trading, I'll say SHIB is a little different. SHIB has a little bit different community to it. It's a different Doge environment than SHIB, but SHIB has incredible price action. Absolutely, we love trading SHIB. Shout out to Angel, #1 contributor. $58,000 plus in terms of contributions. $1,000 Super Chat King. We hope that YouTube lets the reins loose on you. I think last time we discussed Super Chat, they were telling you what you couldn't do with your money, which is not cool. We hope you can tell YouTube what to do with your Super Chats. We hope that is free and clear in terms of your ability to communicate what you want to express to the traders, to the market on your own behalf. That should be cleared up. I did check on that, and I think that should be cleared up for you to be able to communicate in the way that you want to. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Those are severe super chats, and they communicate a lot between traders, and I know that that's your preferred way of communicating, Angel. And so I did check on that, and that should be completely clear for you to steamroll into the market as you see fit in your own bullish fashion. Huge messages are communicated when you do that, and I hope you know that, and we appreciate it very much. So in terms of this specific line here, the 5 minutes, a very nice indication, a very, very nice indication of that top line resistance on BTC. Shows a line of conformance. You can go to the specified. If you want to go to the specified, that 5 minute really captures that top line resistance better than any other time frame or the wicks in terms of exactly where we did, just within dollars of exactly where we found ourselves, a resting spot along resistance. Okay, so pay attention to that 5 minute time frame top line resistance on BTC, please. Okay, looking at Doge real quickly. Let's see what we got. And there we go, Rodrigo. You're welcome, big boss. Hope you're doing well. You are welcome. Let me see if I can get into the framework of the comments here. And Rodrigo, we welcome you to be a member of our trade group, brother. We stream. We talk a lot in the back, just so that you know. We talk a lot in the back all day, almost all night long. We've got guys all over the world. That's nothing new, but I must say, Pathfinder, it's really nice to have you in the group right now. It's just that overseas component is very welcome to us. It's a nice component to have in a trade group. It's like someone who's awake when people in the West are asleep, etc. It's a nice dynamic to have. And yeah, crypto is 24/7, 365, and so are we. In a lot of different regards. Do you guys understand that? The guys who push through the Asian hours quite frequently are the ones who do extremely well. So we like to do that. Sometimes we'll stream very, very late. But Rodrigo, nice to see you in the chat, and you're welcome to join either VIP as our top level of membership. Just if you're wanting to beat the market, learn the tools of the trade, etc. The best we can help you present them to you, etc. Along with some just basic stuff, some real industry specific, just in terms of trading, industry specific authorities, etc. That we really rely on, that we have found extremely useful on crypto, etc. It's the stuff that Wall Street uses. We don't apologize for it. We want to know what the big guys, the non-retail, are up to consistently. That's what we want to do, not the retail guys across the street. We want to know how the big boys are playing, and that's I think one of the reasons that Angel on top has found this to be his kind of comfortable home as well, because it's a very sophisticated group here. So looking at Dogecoin, nice breakout of a descending triangle. We're seeing that frequently, and Doge is not a big deal. I'm going to tell you guys this: it's not a big deal until it starts to rifle to the upside. Then you're going to have millions of people interested in Dogecoin. As soon as it gets back up into any kind of decent price line, you guys know this. And I'll tell you, there is a big memory in with VIP as we streamed this price action to the upside. But yeah, the traders have a very good memory of what Doge can do when it gets up and going. It's like SHIB. When SHIB starts to perk up, people gravitate. Okay, Doge has a similar, I'd say, even more. Well, I can't say more profound. There were incredible gains on SHIB, incredible gains on Doge. You guys know that for the lot of them. We just want to stay tuned into the effect. And I'd say this: if SHIB were down 86%, we would focus on SHIB. Okay, for enough time, I'll tell you that much. And aside from SHIB, having to explain it, the Doge community has just been real strong. There's a lot of people who decided to enter crypto and traded Doge. It was real familiar when crypto was unfamiliar. It's like Bitcoin, very unapproachable sometimes for some people. It's like it's real expensive, not sure what it is, But Dogecoin was like, okay, it was started as a joke. Okay, let's but it's supposed to make money. Okay, it has a utility, maybe. Okay, well, Elon's involved. Some different aspects of Dogecoin came along the way, so we still pay attention to it. And I'll tell you guys, no one wants to pay attention to it down in the depths here. That's one of the key features in terms of buying opportunities, or at least trading opportunities, and I'll say at times on different coins. Now, we would like to see, when everyone's involved on something, whether it was Doge or BTC at the framework of Doge all-time high and around the 75 cents, or BTC all-time high and around 69,000. That's when everyone's real comfortable talking about something and buying it, and the full rush is on with the news media and everything. It's these doldrums that you get down into where you get some value. You see the retracement, 86% on the nose. That's my specific target, just so that you guys know that is my specific Fibonacci target. As you look at the specific the specificities here, or the those target levels that are standard on the Fibonacci, the 86% is not included. Okay, now the 86% is exactly the point that Doge got to. Boom. I know for a fact, literally, that VIP, our group, literally, boom. Shout out to Pathfinder. Pathfinder, you hit the absolute low in the market. Bam, that's it. And Pathfinder is proof positive that you can beat the market. So CZ and everybody else who says, don't trade, just hold. Just, be afraid to trade, just hold. No, guys, we are proof right in here in these last several, let's say, weeks. Let's just measure this across last 30 days that you can beat the market. You can trade. You got to hit your targets. You got to trade your patterns, right? We always say, buy at support, sell at resistance, trade your patterns, and hit your targets. That target to the downside, that is the low in the market. So on Doge. looking at a breakout from that descending triangle. We have some targets in the back and perfectly scoped out targets, I have to say, perfectly scoped out targets. I think, Pathfinder, you put those in the back, just beautifully well done. Let me put here, you are welcome, Rodrigo. We would love to have you join our trade group, at least at the base camp level today. There we go. And I'll put that in for Rodrigo. We would like that to happen today. We have some patience for some people who want to kind of hang out and do this and that, but we like people who want to pull the trigger, who want to hit that button and just, it's the exclusive chat is the exclusive chat. So to the extent that that you would like to become a member and join the trade group, just join on up. We got a great group in terms of the framework here from this bottom level. 0.86, there you go, Pathfinder. Yeah, he nailed it. The 0.86% Fibonacci. Is just nice to know that things work, right? You guys know that it's just nice to know that things work, right? In terms of your targeting, some people, it's a mystery what the price just went to or where it's at. Well, not so much. If you trade a lot, you really do the hammer through the research, you're going to find some of the solutions. They're going to just scream to you as you go through the charts, etc. They're going to let you know what they are, what are the solutions, right? You're always looking for a good trade, etc. We pay a lot of attention to our trades and to the technical data. I want to shout out to AJ Crypto. I want to shout out to Slim. I want to shout out to Luke. I want to shout out to Richard. I want to shout out to Vlad. Vlad, my man, how are you? It's been a minute. I hope you're doing okay with your boxing, your racing. Vlad is the ultimate VIP, and I haven't heard from him in a minute. But he's either doing UFC fighting or something like that. I have some videos from him doing. I don't know. I don't know what he's up to. So I hope you're trading, brother. Training and trading. How about that? In terms of the full line approach. We appreciate it in the back. Really what you let us know about the Humuchi clouds, different things like that. We really appreciated that. Not overly complex with 5 to 10, etc. indicators. Vlad was really highly technical on. He really focused on that specific indicator. I valued that a lot. I thought it was really great. He had an overall really great approach to the market. So I look forward to hearing from you soon, Vlad. Big shout out to Josh, too, our $1 Million champ. Shout out to Josh. What's up, brother? In terms of the line of resistance, that confirmation is a little bit messy on the 1 hourly for Dogecoin. Okay, we have that descending triangle within the framework of, and just pay attention to the patterns, guys, because these patterns may repeat on your other coins, etc. Okay, so just pay attention to the pattern framework. What are the dynamics that are ongoing with Doge that could be repeating in, and they are repeating in your other charts, right? Descending wedge, right? Doge is up and out, right? And it accomplished such with a double bottom in the form and expression also of a descending triangle, descending line of resistance, flat bottom of support. In terms of the difference between the descending and the ascending triangle, just remember, you can always put an ascending triangle exactly underneath a descending triangle. It's an ascending line of support or a descending line of resistance, right? There's going to be a flat bottom or a flat top. That's another key indication, okay? A flat bottom in terms of the descending triangle. Typically bearish, but it can also set a double bottom. The flat top, typically bullish, but it could also set a double top, right? So be careful of those. Make sure you know how to trade them. Typically extremely bullish. If you can get a scheduled in set of hits at the same level on a level of resistance across the top flat, and we want perfectly flat, guys. Ascending line of support, right? These are bullish. You guys know in terms of the amplitude carry up measured move that we would have of that initial, let's say that initial, let me go ahead and clone that, boom, just carried up real easy. Now typically you'd have the ascending that would want to carry up. In terms of and we'll have a little bit of a variation here. We have 2 sets of targets, as always, that we would carry up or that we would kind of reach up to or take a safe and sound kind of approach in terms of an upper threshold and a lower threshold of let's say a descending triangle. We could even do this on an ascending triangle, but looking at, say, the first framework that we put something into, just pay attention. It could be this first pivot down here. If the market's really aggressive, could be the second pivot. More often we're seeing that second pivot, the pivot 1 on support, 2 resistance. So that 2, that second hit, that amplitude, okay, from the support to that resistance, that's crucial, okay? That's a crucial measurement right now that the market is very focused on. So stacking that from the point of breakout would be the initial target we'd like to see, okay, to the extent that the market has recognizes we just drew out an ascending triangle, somewhat of an ascending triangle, right, on the 4 hourly. It doesn't go without note that's specific, the specific ascending triangle does appear to be in play as well. All right, it appears to be in play on that 4 hourly, that ascending triangle. So we have that bearish feature conquered by a bullish feature here on the 4 hourly on Dogecoin. You guys pick up on that, okay? So that's the that is a great expression in terms of Doge. Were to continue to conform technically like this, we have a bearish feature that is conquered by a bullish feature here on the 4 hourly. We're happy to see that, okay? In terms of technical conformance on any specific coin, okay, particularly Dogecoin. There's a lot of interest from VIP, and always have been, in terms of trading Doge. So this amplitude here from the first move would be a higher target. Bam. So we would always lay out the targets to the upside from each and every, based on each and every, I'd say, pattern below. The patterns as they lay over may cause a hesitation or cause a what we say, just a take, right? A take at that first level of that ascending triangle. Just pay attention, because I will show you the other coins that this is currently going on in. You will see these patterns repeated in the other coins when you get an indication of kind of a liftoff preference, etc. You know, in terms of the patterning, the framework of the differentiated, let's say the different patterns, it just becomes crucial as you understand the overall market. So descending wedge, we have, that's bullish, by the way. The descending triangle is bearish, conquered by an ascending triangle, which is bullish, okay? Now, we would still measure up, in addition to that target that we've reached on the ascending triangle, we would also measure up the amplitude of the descending wedge, okay? Or I'm sorry, the descending triangle, pardon me. The descending triangle from the point of breakout, not from the top of, and it gets a little confused, not from the top of the ascending triangle, no, from the top of the breakout, essentially that resistance line across the top on the descending triangle. So we're looking for more pattern conformance right now in terms of our pattern generation. As you go into the lower time frames, Doge is kind of pushing around a little bit. It's been in a few specific, I'd say, what would you guys call it? Just a few different falling wedges that we've looked at. You guys know that VIP are always looking at their Fibonacci's, right? Buy at support, sell at resistance, hit your targets, you know, and trade your patterns and hit your targets. So looking at the framework here, can we establish a bull flag? It's a little bit steep. Right now, we'd like it to kick up and around that first or second level of the Fibonacci and give us a little bit more to work with. It hasn't really wanted to give up that much, so it's been nice to see. Note on the 30-minute. You do have the 100 and the 200 moving average. You guys know that the 100 and the 200 moving average below you, those act as magnets at some point. Okay, finding a confluent level of your Fibonacci in line with the 100 and the 200 is not a bad idea. You guys know this, right? Okay, getting up and out in a pattern framework, beautiful. Finding a target on a Fibonacci, your targeting tool, right? Really easy stuff, guys. Underneath that pitchfork on the left-hand side of your trading view, underneath the pitchfork, you see that thing looks like a pitchfork. It's 1, 2, 3 down, looks like a pitchfork. Click on that, click on Fib retracement, FIB retracement, and just drag that up. Boom. Those are your targets. Real easy. You can enter in your orders to buy or sell at those limits. At those limits, it becomes a limit order. Real easy stuff, right? So that 4 hourly has a nice expression in terms of that flat top, as does the, we'll get into the hourly. I'd say it differs a little bit in terms of that flat top required, but it's been a nice move for Dogecoin, okay, as well as BTC. Although Doge led it yesterday, but BTC is turning green. What's up with BTC turning green? We got to flip back to the screen and check out Bitcoin. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me see what we have. Ethereum forming pennant. Ethereum has just broken out of a nice constricting triangle, just so that you know. I'll check Ethereum just for a minute, and I'll do that for you. Let's see. Biggie, what's up, Biggie? We want you to join our trade group. Hope you're doing well. In terms of a pennant, no, Ethereum's got a real easy. I mean, textbook, guys, you have no idea what textbook is if you are not plugged in to Ethereum right now. This is the most beautiful symmetrical triangulation that you're going to find across time frame, etc. It is perfectly etched in. I won't make an excuse at all for talking greatly about Ethereum. It is a beautifully etched in symmetrical triangulation. Okay, possibly, let me say this, possibly a bit of deviation. We would really like a symmetrical triangle to literally be perfectly symmetrical in terms of the angles. Okay, in terms of those angles are really critical to the market as they assess the overall entirety of the trade. So that's the one. I'll say that's the one deficit, and you have to get really guys, fine-tuned with this. You're just going to see a little bit of an expression, a little bit lack of. And we'll go to a fib right now in terms of a fib wedge. But yeah, Biggie. Typically, that's we appreciate you commenting. But typically, we have that reserved for our VIP, our restricted VIP. But join our VIP, brother. It's $100 a month. We only want people who can book a trade. That's the bottom line. It's like, why do you charge for it? We want people who can book a trade. Like, can you book a trade like once a month for $100? Like, can you trade? You got the money to trade? We want to make sure you're not trading with rent money, anything like that. So, yeah, that's just the bottom line. And I'll put Big E. Here we go. Big E. We welcome you to join our VIP membership if you like to trade. And you'll be in the midst of myself, some great guys in the back. Angel on top. He invested in Bitcoin at $7.79. He makes this his home, and I'm excited about that fact because it means we are doing better than anybody else in the business. Okay. I'm just going to be honest. We are. Everything should be every year, almost every day. That's just the command of excellence that we try and maintain. It's been going great, and it's going to get better. How about that? So, looking at the framework of the specific triangulation, you kind of see when I separate it back just a touch, it's not exactly ideal. We would want a little bit more in terms of the framework of symmetrical triangulation. We really want something like this. And now I've just taken this straight from the Ethereum chart just to prove a point here. Do you see how this is angled off just a bit before I call it perfect? All right, and you guys know me. I'm very big on the angles of the patterns. Very hugely important. You guys know this. In terms of the framework that Ethereum is currently in. Now, does it spoil it? No, it doesn't spoil it, right? You still have the amplitude move, bam, to the upside as the target. It just, as the traders assess the level of risk or certainty as they're looking for that ideal trade, right? That ideal perfected trade. Just understand, it's just it's cut off right now. It's not that perfect symmetrical triangulation that we're looking for. We want the same angle on the top and the bottom. So you have to be a little bit I'd say a little bit choosy sometimes in terms of if you're going to go heavy, etc. You want that perfect trade. You also don't want to lose a trade, right? You don't want to lose a trade because you're overly particular, especially if something's about to move up. So there's always a fine line there, but it may be attracting more attention, more money if it can, by way of attention, more money, more buyers if it's perfectly symmetrically triangulated. Okay, so we would invite you to pay attention to issues like that. The angles, right? Symmetrical triangle means symmetrical, right? A coil. Can you get past this with the notion of a coil? It's close. It's just this bottom line isn't as aggressive as I'd like to see it, right? It's more in line with something like this. I really would have liked to have seen something like this take shape and form in the market for Ethereum. Okay, to the extent that this is kind of a pour out and a rough, a rough area along in this zone, we're going to start going to a higher time frame. We go to a higher time frame and see, well, does a notion like that even really play out? Is there something else in the framework? Let's go to the hourly. We'll learn something here. Look, I've got my eye on BTC and Doge on the side, just so you know. But we're talking patterns right now. This is important stuff. As we would discuss this framework here, and it may be a good clue as we talk about the different. Let me rewind this real quickly. Boom. Let me get back to the framework we had originally on the time frame we had, and there we go. Okay, in terms of not having a perfect angle, is there anything else that another time frame can tell us? Let's go to for instance, as you go to the daily, it starts to look more like that descending triangle, right? That descending triangle that we just spoke about on Dogecoin, right? On Doge. And if Doge is flying, we're gonna stream Doge. We're gonna have some fun with Doge. Bitcoin every day, twice on Sundays. That's just what we're into. Dogecoin maybe 3 or 4 times on Sundays. I just mean in terms of how much we like it. We just have fun when it's going up 10x. We have a good time with it. You can now trade it on leverage too, so you get a 5L on 10x. On a 10x, you're doing okay, right? So we have a lot of fun. It's just that out of the box thinking. It's just kind of a crazy fun investment that people just really took to. So we appreciate that too. The opportunity to make a couple 10x's in a couple months. That's fine. That'll work. So we're going to keep our eye on it. And shout out to the VIP you hit the low target. Pathfinder in the house. That 86, my custom 86, you hit it. What's up, man? That's teamwork right there. Way to go, brother. That 86% retracement. So this is indicative on the daily as you start to see this. And I brought over, did the analysis on the specific Dogecoin chart in terms of the bottom line framework of the double bottom, but yes, also that descending triangle. So there's kind of a hybrid pattern in play on Ethereum at the lower time frames until we get into, here we go, on into the weekly. Now you're starting to see, nope. Now we're starting to see, okay, 100% we're into a descending triangle framework. Bam. So as you look at the different time frames, stay very aware of what the higher time frames are and how your specific lines, I'll say your specific lines here at the higher time frames, will fit back into your lower time frames. It may provide some clarity. So that was a nice journey for anyone who just followed that technically. That's the kind of analysis I'd say that fits very well within the scope of classical approach to TA. So looking at this framework, to the extent that it would be stretched out, we would expect. Now this is the kicker with Ethereum. Looking at the levels of deviation, you understand like a regression trend, right? Regression trend. We would look under the actual trend line, the trend line tool. Go to the trend line tool and click on regression trend. Click it and click it. Boom. That's a regression trend right there. This is another cross trend line that no one's probably paying attention to, right? This specific level of support, okay, into a level of support, all right, into support to the resistance, into up and out. Looking at the framework of your different tools, etc., will broaden your scope in terms of what you're capable of trading. You may see something like this and start to think, oh, there's an inverse head and shoulders in here. Oh, there's a maybe a triple bottom in here. Different components will come into play. I bring up that standard deviation because in terms of the regression trend, for one reason, not to overcomplicate, to let you know the standard deviation is built in with a regression trend. Bam, right along that middle line. It finds it for you. That is the standard deviation. Measured back through here. We can measure it from here to here. It's going to look completely different. All right, so we have that angulation there. I'm going to take a picture of that because that's a good shot for Ethereum. You guys have to admit on that. Nice cross trend line, huh? The implications of breaking out of that are interesting. So, yeah, as we look at the framework here, we've got an upper and a lower threshold around the standard deviation of price action here recently, and just understand how that will change as you go through the different levels of the price action. I bring it up because as you saw the level, and just take this to heart, whether or not it's Ethereum is Ethereum. Right? Let it be Ethereum. It's the core central component of the exchanges right now, a crypto in addition to BTC. We're going over something right now that's critically important in terms of the technicals. So just focus on this with me if you can here for a second. That descending triangle framework brought back to, we're going to go through the notion of that regression trend. Why I'm bringing that up is as we bring back the framework of the descending triangle from the weekly, right, to, or from the daily. Let's go from the daily, not so much, but from the weekly, most certainly on the time frame, the differentiated time frames, the higher time frame. Always check your weekly, check your daily. Guys, check your monthly if you have enough price action. But bring that back just to look at what else the market may be looking at. If you have an imperfect pattern that we discussed on Ethereum, it's like, well, the angles aren't quite right. I'm not quite happy with it's not fully symmetrical. Well, to the extent that on the weekly you may come up with or devise a different pattern framework, even if you wanted to expand the notion here of the specific descending triangle. Let's just look at this real quickly on Ethereum, right? What you're running into is the descending triangle with some deviation. Still this level of support, and it's just really it's a great it's going to be a great test for the traders. I'm going to tell you guys that the key is going to be at the lower time frames in the continuation moves. You understand that? So we can talk in the broader context, the bigger picture, right? But it's going to come down to those lower time frames. So the weekly is going to give the most guidance, though, in my opinion. It's a very steadfast, solid approach. As I talked about that regression trend, just understand when you bring back something, let's say from the weekly, this is why I brought the regression trend up, just for you to appreciate, because you would say, well, the pattern doesn't even fit. Look at the lines, all the framework of the price action outside of the pattern. Like, okay, great. That's let's just say, maybe hypothetically that would be correct. All right, you have some sort of a descending triangle here, right? Same as Doge. A lot of the other altcoins right now. You say, well, London, that's wrong. Look at it now. That's completely wrong. All right, understand what the larger time frame does. It consolidates the price action down into and away from all of the volatility on the lower time frame, this being the daily, into the weekly, where it spent the most time, where it actually set its pivot, boom, on the weekly. You don't have all the noise. So what you have is essentially noise. You have some additional deviation, right? You have some additional volatility on that lower time frame, the daily, certainly, the 4 hourly, most certainly. So you start to see something like this, and to the extent that you can frame the pattern taken from the larger time frame, to the extent that you can framework this in your mind a little bit around the notion of kind of like, okay, that's kind of, and I don't want to say the average, but let's put the regression trend on just a second. You'll see as I draw the regression trend, even the regression trend, which automatically calculates, just so that you know, automatically calculates the standard deviation, essentially the core central component, the centralized area and framework of the pricing action in this zone for Ethereum. Look at this; it still has this outside of it. Well, that must be wrong. Now, this is an absolute calculative fact in terms of that standard deviation. So you're going to, as you draw your patterns, at times, let me say that you're going to need to leave open the possibility that there is something outside of the framework of the pattern that you're drawing. While we love technical conformance 100%, leave open the fact that of the potential that you will have or you could have. And at some point, you're going to have some degree of lack of full conformance. But even on something that's purely calculated, it's 100% calculated, the standard deviation here within the regression trend, right? You still have an outlying event there on Ethereum. So I bring that up because to the extent that the weekly may govern over the daily or 4 hourly, just understand the time frames will make you wrestle back and forth. They'll make you decide to be more aggressive or more conservative. All right, you go with the weekly pattern, no problem. You have a lower upside target, easy stuff. Right, you go into the lower time frames, you get more volatility on Ethereum, BTC, Dogecoin, whatever it may be. All of a sudden, you're going for bigger targets. All right, so as we look at the difference between the framework of maybe somewhat imperfect, I mean, it's still a nice looking triangulation on Ethereum. It's a nice breakout, guys, a nice breakout. But manage your expectations in line with what the higher time frames are communicating to you, please. Please do that. I'm just going to ask you for you to please do that as you manage your expectations. Don't go bearish when you're bullish. You don't need to go bearish when you're bullish. That's not the framework I'm asking for anyone to go into. But do make a conscious decision as to whether or not you are properly aligned in terms of being overly aggressive or overly conservative. Right, in terms of your trades. Always, you want to pick a middle of the road this time. Maybe last time you were too aggressive and you lost out. It wound up being 40% of my trade, man. Who knows, right? Who knows? But just pay attention to that. And you guys do remember on Ethereum, I'm bringing up Ethereum because it's a great kind of case study for us. Because Ethereum, I called at, you see the purple way up here, bam, the tweet on it, etc. The fifth wave has been completed, bam, okay, at 4,352 before a 50% drop. Okay, so I'm highly technically analytical, and you guys I know are as well. Let me see what we got. You got the Doge. We got Doge. That is so cool. Let me see what we got. I didn't mean to do the smiley face. I like the Doge. Let me do this. Boom, boom. There we go. The Doge. And then we'll just do that. Nothing wrong with laughing though. That's good stuff. Appreciate that, Pat. So I like to work between but you see a 50% drop. Can you catch the next 50? How you going to do it? Ethereum. Well, I just looked at a weekly that had no relevance, right, on Ethereum, right? Well, did the weekly have a relevance here in terms of that fifth wave before a 50% drop? 50%'s a lot on Ethereum, guys. People are heavily invested in Ethereum. You guys know this. Heavily invested in Ethereum. Well, look at the monthly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Fifth wave completed. Elliott wave function. Bam. Almost right on the top of the hitch, at least on the monthly. You have to give it to it in terms of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Ethereum, coming back into contact with that 200 Actually, is this the? I got to check this. We have been. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I got to tell you guys, I knew it. I don't know where my 200 and 100 have gone on the I'm careful with that on the monthly, and I've been more careful of that, etc. Because I've got my. Let's see, the blue and the orange. We've got essentially we've got real close. I've got MACD signals up on my chart in terms of the EMA. So we got the 12, 26, etc. up on here. Looking at where's the framework of that? Let me see if I can bring this back into the picture. I want to make sure that it hasn't gone anywhere in my charts. I always include and I keep on the charts my 100 and my 200 in terms of the moving average. So I'll probably have to rework the indicators a little bit. But yeah, let's just take a look at. That constriction on Ethereum. That's nice. Micro pattern again. Is there much difference between BTC and Ethereum last couple of days? Yesterday, not much at all. They were on par gainers, right, in terms of that. Just the approach being, let's see, that was Ethereum, this is Doge, let's look at BTC, but they had the same exact move. And it's almost the same exact move BTC did with Ethereum. So we just pay attention to that. And AXS got up and out yesterday. Boom. We've been talking about that in the back. I'm like, guys, that could go somewhere soon, right? And certainly it did. Shout out to VIP, top shelf. Just, you guys are awesome, huh? LRC moving tonight, 4%. Have you guys seen LRC? A little bit difficult. Let's see what it's got here. A little bit of a just a nice move from the bottom line formation, just so that you guys know. It's made a good attempt to recover some of the lost price that it had. I'll just cover it real quickly. About a 70% move in just a short period of time. So looking at the current framework, if you guys are looking for a bull flag, maybe you've got a bull flag on the specified time frame. Let's see, in the works here. I know you guys like to trade bull flags. Maybe something you guys can work with on that 5 minutes thereabout. You may have a nice bull flag on LRC just to bring up to you as we would look at this potential move to the upside. Let's go ahead and measure that from that bottom line function here, and it's contravening the market, which is nice. Bit of a red day. About a 25 to 27% move to the upside could be indicated on LRC. Worth taking a look at. They do have leverage coins on LRC as well. If you're looking to do a 3L, 5L, or something like that, those might be out there. Good luck. Don't be overexposed. We see that 1, 2, 3. Potential 4 and 5 would be that just what we covered in Ethereum. You guys know that. So that would be nice to see work there. 67% in a week, not bad. It's gotten up and out in nice form, and looks like, yeah, again, that specific bull flag looks like it's in play. AXS in the house again, guys, from the point of breakout here. Just huge. Not sure who all wanted to trade it. It's up 44%, pardon me, from the lower level. We'll measure that, but 44% in 2 days and 3 hours. Nice. VIP in the back, you know, I did comment on that to see kind of what it would be up to. And yeah, from this bottom line portion support, I thought 64, it's 65.52 from that level there. So very nice to see that level of price action. Again, what is it coming out of? It's coming out of a descending triangle. You guys got that, just like Doge, just like a lot of other coins in the market. So looking at the framework of your overall, I'd say, crypto story right now with the altcoins, etc., very few are in this initial run-up phase right here. Most have capitulated. They're at a level of the Fibonacci, and we're looking at some sort of a pattern breakout. A lot are contravening the notion of a descending triangle typically being bearish. They're beating it with another internal pattern, maybe even a bull flag on or no pattern on some of the other coins. It's just gotten aggressive up and out of these descending triangles. And let's look at BTC and see if we can put anything into the framework of a descending triangle. Let's that's Bitcoin dominance right there. Just to take a look at BTC-D. That's BTC.D, the percentage of money in the market that essentially the market capitalization that belongs to Bitcoin, right? Hugely important. So let me get rid of some of these lines in the framework here. I had drawn this out real quickly. Let's again though, looking at the framework of a descending triangle. I had that's an interesting question. If Angel is listening, I'm sure he is. But yeah, Angel, you remember the framework that I put a previous chart into before all this started happening. I had sent him something with just some descending triangles and breakouts from the preceding zone and the current zone on BTC. So yeah, we went over that I don't know, a little bit interesting to have covered that Angel in the form of a chart to you. Glad to see that's taking root in probably most of your altcoins that you're looking at trading. Congrats on your success. So let's see what we got on the. Let's see. Painting the floor on Dot's one we're going to go over in a minute. If want to make sure Angel's here, don't want to cover too much of what's in or out or up or down or where it's heading. If I'm sure he'll listen to it later, but it'd be nice if he's going to stop in a little bit. We'll make sure and cover some of the coins that we have kind of participated in terms of TA, etc. We're trading. A lot of the VIP have been trading. Looking at this specific level of resistance, level of support on the framework of the pitchfork, it's a channel. It is a centralized upper and lower threshold level channel tool that we use. Very, very, very important in terms of identifying the levels of support, that upper threshold level of resistance. It's a nice tool right now to look at to give BTC the possibility of moving up even more, of expressing, let's say this, yes, we're going to, and as you guys look at this, it's really important. Let's take a closer look at this. And this always looks best on a big screen TV, just so that you know, guys, a big screen TV will help you on your technicals. We want your technicals to be as accurate as possible. So get that big screen TV and pour the technicals down into them so you can see what's going on with your price actions. It's hugely important. This framework of the channel here will give you a different understanding of what's going on currently with the price. As you would look at it, the lower threshold, the upper threshold, because we're all looking at this right now and saying it's an ascending, pardon me, but the descension is near, right? A fall is near, because we are in the context of a just up and over a rising wedge, right? So I challenge you guys to bring into context and framework the specific, not to become over leveraged or over involved in a trade, but just to understand this level, this lower threshold, the upper threshold, and to kind of smooth things out for you in terms of your understanding of the current channel line. This just nice framework that things have been put into to the upside, right? So we did discuss this channel formation as it could apply to the interior patterning of something, right? If we were to look at let's say just a real straight example in terms of what would be considerable or considered to be, let's just say a triangulation like such, we would expect, and just take this a little bit off the side from the framework of the overall price action on BTC, currently in the way of an update, up 0.09% to $44,033. Okay, great day yesterday. Glad I was able to bring you guys that video on bull flag forming ? Right? Very, very nicely done in terms of that. The bull pennant, which we said would go into the flag, right? That backup. That's the backup. I say the backup pattern is the bull flag for the bull pennant. But as you see, I'd say patterns come to fruition at times. You may begin to notice channels within the patterns, right? And those can be hugely important and indicative that you are respecting. In the process of respecting a pattern is that you've got some channel framework within the specifically designated, as we just say, pattern, whatever that may be. If it's, any pattern could contain this, but the more that you trade, you'll see traders taking swing trades within the levels of support and resistance as the framework of the channel comes together, right? So it's not uncommon at all that we would start to see the framework within here express itself, and I'd say really, not really finally, because we had some nice, I'd say some nice swing trades in this area, swing trades across the top, to the extent that we would want to draw this out in terms of those channels, as I just kind of expressed there, to the top, to the bottom, right? That we would want to kind of clarify, like, a little bit of the price action in terms of, we could even draw that as a, we may have some, and this is probably highly relevant that we should discuss here, right? This preceding rising wedge here, right? We have that a little bit on the micro right now. To discuss that, we've been just briefly bringing up the that notion of the rising wedge in line with the specific channel framework here. So the channel framework is just designated there, but you can see channel framework here as well with support to support, resistance to resistance, even maybe potentially an interior line here that was confirmed off of finally to move to the upside there. So you'll just see the designated framework of the patterns in terms of their amidst their formation and the trades at the level of support and resistance, the volatility there in between. Very easily stated, right? The volatility there in between the levels of support and resistance. Before I forget, just to go ahead and let you guys know, I want to let you know about this specific, right, descending triangle. Huge issue, right? Has its own independent target to the upside, as we're talking about all the descending triangles on the other altcoins, right? On the other coins, which are altcoins, right? As we would talk about the move to the upside here, BTC is a little bit different of a category, right? BTC is not just coming out of, but we need to check, a descending wedge, right? Because all the other altcoins are coming out of descending wedge. Here we have a specific descending triangle. Well, so do all the altcoins. Most of the other altcoins have a descending triangle, right? So BTC has its own descending triangle. The time frame of the descending triangle for BTC is, or for the altcoins have their descending triangle throughout the entirety of this, okay, throughout the entirety of this region here. To the extent that we would want to look at BTC with that same approach, let's take a second. Let's do it, because we have one here, right? That's interesting. We have an angle here on the lower line here from that 50% retracement to that lower level. So a bit of a triangulation. Is there anything other than let's go to the daily. We do have this, as I was talking about the deviation, etc., and I want to check with the monthly real quickly. Let's look at the monthly, just see exactly where that monthly is at. It's a single hit down. Okay, on the daily, let's go to the weekly as well. We'll go back to the weekly real quickly. To the extent that this could be just like Ethereum, a very interesting kind of a discussion here. As we would talk about, just like Ethereum is pretty solidly a descending triangle on the monthly, or on the weekly, pardon me, guys, that we just looked at, right? So to look at this, what I really liked on the weekly for BTC, and you guys know we've been repeating this, was that ascending, I'm sorry, guys, that symmetrical triangle. I'm gonna have to get a sip of coffee here in a minute. Most people think I must drink it all day long. I really try not to drink too much coffee. I try and go through the information as quickly as possible, because I know everyone's in a rush. They got to get home. They got to set up. They got to do different stuff. They got to be with the family. So I try and get through information quickly. This symmetrical triangulation on BTC on the weekly is really strongly reinforced by this top level. If you see the angle there on the resistance, that's a big deal. This ascension here is also a big deal. So I would say that we have independent patterns between Ethereum and BTC. So yeah, so to the extent that we have a full line of conformance there, or we do not, that's it's not good nor bad. It just is. So technically, that's what we're considering right now. Those specific lines that I just deleted. Let's look at these real quickly as we talk about the different time frames. Some of the challenges that the traders are currently up against as we watch BTC not doing poorly, up about 0.1%. Okay. Talking about the preference of a little bit more development in terms of the price action here. If you guys are in a long, congratulations. Look at the 77-minute. Very interesting in terms of its pattern frameworks that you guys will appreciate seeing when you start looking at that 77-minute time frame. Just a bit of a different application that you would look in here. Now, digging in, we need to look at this real carefully, real quick. All right, quick sip of coffee there. In terms of the framework here, a little bit of rounding across the top, but we are forming an ascending triangle, at least on the 30-minute. Let's go to the 5-minute real quickly. Yeah, we are formulating an ascending triangle. It's close. We talk about the detailed levels, the perfect, right? Those perfect, we want a perfectly flat, right? We want a perfectly flat line for the ascending triangle. You guys know that. A little bit of deviation on that 1-minute chart. Let's go to the candle wick and see if we can find it. No, let's see how much. We talked about the regression, etc. We had quite a discussion about the kind of the normalized or the expectations, right? What are the expectations of the traders in terms of the level of technical conformance, right? That's hugely important. So as we look at that angle to the downside, just it's there, right? We don't want it to be there necessarily, but yeah, that's going to probably disqualify it, pardon me, from being considered to be an ascending triangle, which would be the most bullish expression that we could find. So to the extent that that's pushed out a bit in terms of a like a pennant, like we would look at essentially a triangulation, not perfectly symmetrical. We just want it perfectly symmetrical. We're very choosy about that, right? It's just the truth, guys. We look for perfect patterns, but BTC's getting up a bit. Let's look at this on the 5-minute chart and see where she's at, 0.14% up to the upside. We would love to have a day where she's screaming through these lines of resistance across the top, which are what, guys? Which are all the different time frames. Like, we got to look at them. All the different time frames. We're up and out on the 4-hourly, right? We have set a candle. I'm just going to say, but however, on the candles, we have not set a candle. Right, we have this upper level. If you guys watch my video, just a quick video in terms of like the maximum threshold. We've learned to pay attention to that top threshold on the candle wicks. Please pay attention. Mind that top level of resistance there that we are currently looking at. That's well far and above the current level of resistance. Up an additional 1.97, almost 2%, up about another $800-900, above the current price. See how microscopic this is in terms of just the micro feature, this patterning. Let's look at it on the on the totality here, and the overall picture is just, that's a small feature. Look how small that is, right? So when we're trying to trade into that, just notice like, well, yeah, we're trying to trade into that. Just look here real quickly with me. If you guys, this is where a big screen TV helps. You see that specific patterning right there. Look at the, let's see, caught the IRC bullfrog, let's see, early myself, and I'm proud to say I've been successful traders thanks to London School of TA. Bull flag, hey, way to go. Man, Torque, man, it's time for VIP. Thank you so much, Torque. And it's time for you to join VIP, my man. We're excited to hear that from Torque, and exciting that you're booking trades and you're positively in the money. Way to go, Torque. And you pay attention. You definitely do. You're not overexposed. I guarantee that as well. That's the VIP way to be. That's awesome. Let's look at one of the challenges we currently have ongoing now. Not that history has to repeat. And as you guys look at, the framework to place in kind of these micro patterning events, just take a look at this specific micro pattern that's going on. And this is where the big screen TV helps a lot. I mean, a lot. You maybe need to walk up to the TV, right? The micro patterning in this area, you see the specific pennant formation here. We'd love it to just blast to the upside. That's the ideal, just the supernatural. Bam, let's roll to the upside, right? As we would look at that specific feature, though, what is this right here? Just about the same. You see this feature right in here. Very similar on the 4-hourly. Let's go back to the hourly. Don't you see this right here? I mean, you see this, and we saw the juke to the upside, then a small pour down right out of that preceding line. We were along the line of resistance, right? So, but looking at this feature of the micro patterning and how it can, I'm going to say, once the momentum slows, it becomes a different approach in the market. We want to see a little bit more patterning typically. Now, can we bust a small baby, like I call it a baby bull pennant, right? Baby bull pennant, small bull pennant, whatever it may be, a miniature bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. But as you see that, you can clearly see what I'm talking about. It's like it's kind of the same amplitude, the same breadth, etc. It's just done this to us in the last number of days, right? That was not so many days ago. Just that and it wasn't catastrophic, but it actually pulled to the downside. Remember that, and then it flipped up. If one wanted to pull to the upside and then pull down, just understand once we establish a new pricing level at around that 44,000. Right? Once we establish a new level, typically, guys, we'll like to see a little bit of patterning, right? We'll like to see that consolidation take place. So this has been quick and would be really easy to get up and out. We could make a heck of a year. Maybe we write the book, on anything we want to. Really, we take all the time we want to write a book on anything we want to. If we just get every micro move like this just to take off, that'd be, we'd be on vacation 24/7. We'd probably still be trading. You guys know that. A lot of you could be on vacation 24/7. Like Angel, he chooses to trade. So this is some of the most fun you'll have in the market, in any market, is with crypto, without a doubt, and can be the most profitable as you look at your approach. So looking at the framework here, we had the preceding zone here. I'll just go to the framework of this preceding wedge, and it's not irrelevant, these small zones, is it? Because we were at the top of a level of resistance, right? And now we are at the top, just slightly over, of a level of resistance, another wedge. So this is the second wedge that we're looking at, literally within the scope of just like back-to-back wedges, right? The market's taking full note of that to the extent that, what do we say, guys? To the extent can a wedge be beat? What I'll say is this: in terms of the overall breakout of the pattern formation here, as we would consider this to be a breakout move, in occurrence, in the process of occurring right now, or at least up to that line, the variability across the top is not accommodating to the traders. I'll tell you that. To the extent that we can dismiss everything except the top line formation on the candle wicks, it's almost preferable. But you see that we're stopped on that line in the hourly. I mean, preferable for me is just put it on the wicks, let's relax, and we still have room to get up into this area. Feels a little better, right? Well, we still have time and room to get up into this area to break out on the candle wicks. That's gives us a little bit. It doesn't create as much haste, right? We don't need to do something right now, but an additional, it may take an additional day or two to get up in this area. Just kind of relaxed approach in terms of what we're actually looking at, right? To be over the top of a line of resistance on a specified. Let's say specified on the lines, noted on the lines. Each of these wedges has a differentiated point here on the actual line. As we look at the top line of resistance, has a wick that powers through. You guys got to get those big screen TVs. Put this up on something so you can see this. That line of that just pierces the line of resistance, not evident on the actual lines. Okay, so just pay attention to that. It's a huge, huge deal as we're just crawling. Remember when we were crawling and pushing along in this wedge? Those of you who are paying attention to trading, man, same deal, huh? Just crawling across this line of resistance. We identified it, and it was like, well, I think most people are like, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one because look at the start. I don't know about that if we're going to include that, right? We're going up, right? I think that's what most people thought. I'm like, well, just watch this, boom, boom. In terms of this, just wedges do this. It's what they do. Right now, I would tell you what things do. Do they do them back to back? Just back to back guaranteed. Is the one thing that has me a little bit just like cracking my knuckles out. Like, let me crack my neck a minute and look at this one more time, because honestly, when you trade, it's like it just did this. It just did this for everybody. It's going to do it again. Because if that were the story, then hey, let's load up on the shorts. Let's relax a minute. Let's book a trade. We have 2 days to everybody book a short, no problem. I mean, it just did it for us. So when you start looking at these things, that BTC just did it. It just did this, literally carbon copy repeat, no problem. We should be heading down and out of this wedge. Just remember, this one pushed a little bit towards the top, right? If you're still in a long at this area because you remember this, I don't blame you at all. Okay, if you're still in a long right now, if you're still in a spot position or a long, and you're just waiting for this to crawl up a little bit, hey, you're paying attention. I guarantee you're paying attention. You paid attention here too, and you're waiting for that double loop up here. So I am currently guilty of the same thing that you may be guilty of. Is I'm waiting for it just to crawl up the top like it just did. The Bitcoin just did this. I'm in a 5L position right now. It's like, that's fine. It's at the top. It just did this. So the only caveat there is the following. Let me explain. The only caveat there, the only warning to everyone is, don't get too comfortable with what it just did. If it just did something and you made some money, that's great. If it's going to do it again, the whole market is watching it. The entirety of the market who's paying attention to TA is watching this. They know that we just broke down from this wedge, right, that we pushed up twice. I'm guilty of the same thing right now, I guarantee you. Right? It's just, it looks like a good pattern formation. That's the bottom line. Now, the difference, as we give some fairness to this, for those who have held into a long position up here, and as I'll discuss this, the difference here is we had a pretty solid descending triangle, bearish feature. It flipped everybody out, right? It just hosed any traders that wanted to take a short on it. That's why it flipped out. So we streamed this live. You guys remember that pour down feature from the descending triangle in this lower time frames? You'll definitely see it. If I can get it back on the screen in terms of that, 5-minute time frame. You guys remember that? Just, it's a descending pattern, this and that. Bitcoin picks up the shorts, people wanting to make money on the downside, and wham, back up and through to that top line resistance again. So Bitcoin wasn't too friendly. So when I remind everybody on the tail end of a day where people just made money and it just went really well with Bitcoin, et cetera, got up out of the flag, we called this nice move, et cetera. What I'll say is this: just remind yourself this wasn't that friendly. This showed you 1, 2, 3 jukes, 3 fake outs in this zone. You guys remember 1, 2, 3? We talked about that. Bitcoin was being a little dicey with people, get you into a trade, and then whoops, it wants a little bit of that money back, right? It was a very clear bull flag here, and it may have, to tell you the truth, it may have some traders in a little bit of a cautious. The ones who are paying attention, a lot of attention, may have them in a little bit of a caution, I'd say a level of caution, because understand we had a bull flag here. We have a complete repeat here. It's very interesting. Complete repeat. It moved to the upside, downward sloping channel, bull flag. Bam, move to the upside, right? Expectation. Always it's going to be a downward sloping channel, period. Okay, that channel with the support and resistance. Now, in terms of this secondary move, check it out. Secondary move, second bull flag, right? Copy that. In terms of the feature, this is a better bull flag. The one on the right, this is a much healthier looking bull flag, without a doubt. This here is it's a giveaway. It's a telltale sign of the fact that we're formulating probably some sort of a rising wedge. This is because it's just that cut across the channel framework that cuts across a pattern during the pattern formation to give that pattern its designated form, right? So that was pretty easy to identify. In addition to, yes, a technical bull flag, just a little bit deep. We like this one. Move to the upside in this downward sloping channel. Better features to it. That looks a lot more textbook to me, guys. Very, very nice framework of this bull flag. So yes, we have the mid-level bull flag of the specified rising wedge, the bearish feature. This one is situated a little bit higher. You guys notice that? This one's situated in this first interval here, as I talk about 1 and 2. 1, let's see, and let's make this larger text. Let's go white is fine. 1, and then we have 2. All right, so the second feature here, and it's just interesting for the traders because it's just an absolute carbon copy. What we did on the lower threshold here is we ultimately, came down to, I just say ultimately we came all the way down. It's a little ways, guys. If you're on leverage or something else like that, it's quite a ways to travel down to this level of indicated support along the bottom. Pay attention to that, right? Because everything looks fine and dandy from right here. It's like we're still pushing up. You start start putting this framework, and there she goes to save the day. Let's go. What you got in your reservoir tank here? What you got, BTC? Just told you I'm in a 5L, just kind of pushing luck with what just happened, and that it's going to at least happen again with another flip up along the top here, at least, right? I maintained my position. Glad I did. In terms of this move, potentially to the upside, if we're going to play micro patterns, we're going to watch this. It'll be a phenomenal move for Bitcoin. I guarantee a phenomenal move if it can complete this micro pattern, without a doubt. They do not like to repeat. I'm just going to say, in terms of a micro patterning, it would be an incredible move for Bitcoin if we can see this occur right now. I've got a position in terms of a 5L on BTC. I know a lot of VIPs do as well. Let's see where, let's see Doge at 0.15. Doge kind of hanging back just a little bit. I did say we would stream both. So to the extent that I need to be a man of my word, I will stream both. Boom. There we go. In terms of the patterning on the right, you'll see Doge. On the left, you will see BTC. This is how it should be. I'd like another one right here for, there we go, Doge picking up just a touch. Now in terms of 5 minute, and let's take a look at the two charts kind of side by side, just so some of you guys want to watch Doge, some of you want to trade BTC. I'm happy to trade either one. I'd rather, have people have already purchased, let's say, $1 million of Doge at 0.007 and then have sold it at like 70 cents. That is my preference, all right? Like 100x on $1 million. That would have been nice, okay? For those of you who were around during that time, if you didn't buy $1 million worth of Doge, then, well, I understand. I understand that, and I have some friends who own a lot of Doge, guys. They just own a lot of Doge, a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of different things. We'd like to have another screen for SHIB, tell you the truth. Angel, trillion, SHIB, 1 trillion, right? That's between 20 and 30 million US dollars. So Angel, we'd love to stream Sheeb as well. We like just streaming price action, guys. Anything with price action on it. So, but it has to have the coin. It has to have the, the flavor of the, it has to have, what did you say, guys? It has to have the, it has to have that, it has to have that element to it, right? It's got to be kind of cool. It's got to be a little, a little bit on the cusp or the edge, right? So let's look at these on the 1 minute. Now, the reason I say it would be really phenomenal, I mean, great, yes, it would be great, quote unquote. But by phenomenal, I mean phenomenal in that it rarely happens. Okay? Like a phenomenon, like we were in Santa Barbara and the whole sky turned purple, or like, dark purple, something weird, right? The whole sky turned green, right? I mean phenomenal like it rarely occurs. We're Bitcoin to shoot up to the top here. Might need to stream BTC, Doge, and Sheeb. Yeah, I do need BTC, Doge, and Sheeb, and Dot, and Phantom, and Rose, and Dusk, and Near, and AXS, and it's just all of them, huh? We love price action, huh? We just love price action. LRC, Mina, Mana Sand. It's like we speak another language, like a code for something. Mina, Mana, Sand, Gala. It's just we've got all of the. We do. I don't know how many coins I know by heart, but I know which one of them just recently moved, how much, from what price target, how long it stayed in the 78.6 versus the 65th versus. We just we got it bad, guys. You know this. So in terms of the feature here on the left that we would look at. Let me darken up this chart real quickly. Let me get just some nice parameters here in terms of the appearance. And you're seeing, let's see, well, nice for Doge to get our attention. I have to say it was nice. It was well received. Or BTC. I'd love to start mixing up the two just for the heck of it. If I'm accidentally or purposely saying it, I would love to mix up. Well, that was nice of Dogecoin. Just because some people would, so many coins there are Pathfinder, but so many people cannot stand it. You guys know that. They just cannot stand like Dogecoin. So it's just funny with the Bitcoin crowd just to be the cool guys who are like, we love Dogecoin. I mean Bitcoin. It's just, we're that group. It doesn't really matter that much. Yes, it does in terms of the overall utility, but in terms of what you're trading, what you're making money on, have your holdings of BTC, let them go long, far, and wide. Have your holdings of Sheeb, do the same if you choose, or Doge, do the same if you choose. If you want to trade Sheeb, trade Doge, hey, hats off to you. Right, that's part of the idea there. Maybe not such an a absolutely fundamental coin, Dogecoin. But hey, that's what makes it what it is. So again, right, this. All right, I was just expecting something like this. Same thing that happened below. Doge on the right, a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more solid there. You guys see that? So what has occurred here? We just formulated an upward sloping line of resistance. I'm going to go here because Doge just powered through that pretty steadily. Yeah, we can sit and talk about it. Or I can show you what how BTC just kind of reinforced this top line resistance in the form of an upward channel instead of what we wanted. We wanted a nice move, boom, to the upside. We wanted that move to the upside, bam, to complete that specific bull pennant pattern. Right, that nice move to the upside we've had here with a constriction, symmetrical constriction. We want this sucker to move. We want it to move. Getting into the 1 minute, you see, now that we have a confirmation. Oh, we got a confirmation on this specific triangulation now. It's going to play confirmation on that. I see. After a jolt up like that, got a lot of traders involved. You guys know I was already sitting in a 5L. I don't want to tack on points like we did in this zone. Sometimes play your bull flag, play your bull pennant. Easy trading. Definitely indicated. Time to scream and rip and have it go to the upside. That's great. But when we have a clear indication, we were just talking about this in this zone, right? After this specific bull flag to the upside, we just zoomed in, didn't we? In terms of this potential bust down to the downside, this specific drop here that was indicated, right? At least the amplitude of this, right? Bam, move to the downside. No, it got real catchy. Fake out here, fake out here, fake out. It was just continual. We had 2 or 3 fake outs. very, very quickly, very in close proximity after that bull flag. So the market rewarded the traders or the holders with some money, and they wanted it back. Boom, boom, boom. Right. So we're in that the same familiar territory. Rising wedge, rising wedge. We have situation number one. We have situation number two. Talking about in this interval, the same interval here that we were in here. We had a lot of catchy trades, fake outs. So be careful in this zone. Right after the bull flag, boom, catchy trades and fake outs. Right after the bull flag, boom, catchy trades and fake outs. That's what we're assessing right now with the micro patterning going on here, with the micro patterning going on here, right? Macro patterning, macro patterning. Very nice macro patterning here. Just real textbook, really, really nice feature of that bull flag here. Just very, very nicely done. So we'll dig into the lower time frame. Take a look at the 5 minute. What do we got going on? Are we up and out of the specific? Let's see what we're doing here. Let's see what we're doing. Can we got a nice confirmation across this line, top line of resistance, right? And it's an interesting, I almost want that other indicator, Pat, that you said was, that you mentioned the other day. It's nice. Sometimes I don't like when it undraws what it's already drawn, but that's a nice confirmation, guys. That's not a bad confirmation. Let's look at the hourly real quickly. Let's look at that hourly, right? Hourly. Ooh, we got an issue on the hourly. Potentially, huh? This is gonna be it, guys. This is gonna tell us who's boss right now. You guys know this. That's close enough to an ascending triangle, huh? Let's just see what that does on the hourly. All right, boom, 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 boom. Let's see what that does on the hourly. No real confirmation off of that ascending triangle. We have a flat top there. It does push up to a kind of a wedge formation, but very interesting, very interesting. We're going to look at that. And this is where on the 30-minute we start getting into that downward sloping resistance, right? Different pattern framework. So we have an ascending on the hourly. We have a symmetrical on the 30-minute, right? We have a little bit more of a mess on the 5-minute. Let's go down into the 1 minute. And let's just look at, you have to check your time frames, guys. You got to check them. Look at the 1 minute or the 5 minute saying we are up and out and clear with a confirmation. You guys note that on the a small hitch confirmation on the 5 minute from that line of resistance. As the line of resistance is carried over, you see that specific line has to be carried over from the 30-minute, right? That 30-minute gets carried over. The line gets carried over to the 5-minute. You see the 5-minute, we have a confirmation across the top. Boom, right? But the nuance is, and here we go. Let's go. Let's see what and see. Look at the minute. You see that all over the map on all the time. It's like if you're not plugged into the minute time frame, you could be sorely misinformed in terms of what's going on with the price action. People don't like the minute. They think it's too aggressive. Let me adjust my mic there. But people don't like the minute. They think it's too aggressive. There's too much price action. They get bored. They want to move on. They want something else to look at. Well, you just saw, I mean, huge difference here between the 5-minute. I mean, the 5-minute literally is picture perfect. Aside from this area along the top here, right? But that 5-minute versus with the clean top taken back over from that 30-minute, you just got to be careful with your lines. You know, you got to watch those lower time frames. A little bit of price action. Looks like we're up and gone. I mean, people want that trade. They want that on the 5-minute. On the minute, people are like, well, I don't know. You know, would have been nice to have a little bit better patterning in here. Would have been nice to have, you know, we're really looking at things a little bit differently in terms of the assessment on the 1 minute. We start to look at the framework of maybe this, right? This specific framework here with the amplitude on this on the 1 minute as we really start to dig in. Then we start to look at this. Bam. The amplitude carry up of this specific move, and then we're right on. That's about what we did. We overperformed as people jumped in. All of this is people who just went ahead and hit the button for the way up. And just showing that the 1 minute is crucially important in terms of the different time frames that we looked at, from the weekly to the monthly to the daily, etc. Framework in, okay, please, in terms of the micro pennant really is best expressed on that 1 minute. And I guess we're looking at it's the first time I really have discussed this in the stream, but looking at the framework of this copy along, or this confirmation along prior resistance, right? Resistance as support. Boom, move to the upside. Now, could that act as now we've got the hourly ascending, we've got the 30-minute symmetrical, okay, essentially we've got the abbreviated micro pattern on the 1 minute. The 5-minute is already confirmed off of I'd say with an over aggressive top. So we're in a position where if you're looking to enter right now, if you're looking for an entry right now, it's a little bit difficult. All right, it's a little bit difficult just to say, well, let's push, let's go. I wouldn't say that we have a clear pattern entry right now on the minute. To the extent that we would find this this entire pattern within conformance, right? I can't sign off on that technically and say yes, that's within conformance, no problem. We're going to be moving up the full amplitude of the preceding move to the top, that flagpole, right? I can't just say that. We do have the symmetrical formation after the move to the upside, but we're at such a micro interval, a micro pattern right now. It's just I don't know, guys. It's just not even the confirmation here across the top of this preceding line of resistance is technically not it's not what we want 100%. So to the extent that it's still tradable, sure, from that confirmation move when it did decide to move on the 1 minute, and we're getting into the lower time frames. Most people tune out when I go into these lower time frames. If you feel like tuning out and you don't want to deal with the 1 minute, try it. Just try it. See what you can learn in the 1 minute, okay? In terms of that lower level or that lower line, you guys know that option that we have in terms of bringing the lower level of support up to the top. Boom. See that? That's a big deal. That is TA. Moving the bottom line on any symmetrical triangulation. Yes, a specific bull pennant. Any bull pennant is going to necessarily require a symmetrical triangulation. That's just the definition of it. It's a run to the upside with a symmetrical consolidation, right, in the form of a triangle. So that specific on any symmetrical triangle, one of the measurement moves is going to be taking the support and just lifting it to the specific threshold of the top level initial pivot and just drawing that over. That is one of the technical rules. I didn't make it up. That's one of the maxims. That's one of the fundamentals of technical analysis. Okay, so that has been chosen thus far. Instead of the completion to the upside here, we would hope to not have this specific move interrupt the price action. We'd like the bull pennant to get up and out. One of the fallbacks of the bull pennant, we'll go ahead and say that. One of the fallbacks of the bull pennant is the potential hitch or stop at this carried up level from support to resistance. We didn't note that last night. We went through bull pennants versus bull flags. Noted. So looking at the price action again, we're across this specific. Let's look at this. We're across this specific line here. We got a 30-minute. This secondary rising wedge. Very interesting stuff, huh? Very interesting stuff. Now on the candle wicks, this is what's nice. On the candle wicks, this move of the bull pennant. Okay, this move of the bull pennant on the candle wicks would get us up and out. Were we to repeat this specific flagpole move to the upside, okay, on the top of the triangulation, move to the upside, bam. So to the extent that that can play, that's a huge move to be a part of, right? To the extent that we need more patterning, I don't want you to FOMO into something before it's happened either, right? Most people think FOMO, I might get into it after it happens. Ooh, I got to do it, right? Well, FOMO can also, fear of missed opportunities can also occur with making you overly aggressive on a trade that hasn't occurred yet, just wanting to be a part of that specific move, right? So always think about that. Most people think, well, FOMO, they get into it late. It's already happened. It can also be being overly aggressive, right? So assess your trade characteristic. I say your trade personality and your skill set as to whether or not that ever does occur. Well, I just wanted to be a part of this move. I shouldn't have done it. I FOMO'd in, right? You can FOMO in, fear of missed opportunity, etc. Be on the forefront as well. So that's crucial. Let's see what we have here in the mix, in the charts. Let me see what's going on. Black man, I have asked you multiple times to become a member here, and you have not joined, so I'm going to kick you out, bro. That's just it. It's so easy. It's the price of a pack of gum, and you still knock on our door and you want to hear an opinion. I tell you every time, you join our group, you get an opinion. You don't join our group, you don't get an opinion. So you could have just paid the price of a pack of gum. And if my opinion is not worth that to you, or the VIP aren't worth that to you, just get on with it, man. Go home. Go home and trade with your homeboy trade group, bro. That's not going to fly here. We don't roll like that at all. So go find your old crew and just have it out with them and ask them what they think of ETC. That's just it. We don't roll like that at all. Kind request made multiple times, my man, and you go find your own trade group. It's not here. All right. So this is VIP. It's restricted zone. That's it in the chats. It's for people who are part of the trade group. That's just it. We don't want freeloaders around here. If you can't book a trade, then don't be a part of our group. If you can book a trade, be a part of our group. We have a great group. Angel Matos at the top. What's up, my man? Angel, try and keep it exclusive for people like him who've been in the industry, invested in Bitcoin since $7.79. Not Johnny come latelys here. Top shelf TA. I take a lot of let's say just personal responsibility in terms of the quality and level of TA that we produce, and I appreciate you, Angel, for making that very well known in terms of your participation with the group. And I know you've seen them all, brother. I know you've seen every group on probably for the last 10 years, and you haven't made a splash like this with a group before. So it's just nice to have you here with us, Angel. We appreciate you, and I try and keep it exclusive for you and everybody else here. It's just it is the way. Is the VIP way to be. So no apologies at all. Roll out. So anyway, in terms of the specific framework on the 5-minute, it is interesting as we're looking at this, and as we look at this, the potential here for a specific ascending triangle. We have the equivalent hitch on the 5-minute. This is noted by the market right now. I guarantee the traders are looking at this right now. And nothing wrong with ETC, but VIP and I have been talking about that. I brought that up. What was that? Before it started moving, huh? VIP in the back, boom. He want to know about it now. He doesn't want to join. I don't want to put the money in for it. I brought up ETC to the group, specifically ETC to the group as a question and consideration before it even started moving here recently. Boom, nice price action. After I brought up that and one other coin that I'm still kind of looking at the features of. That we're kind of paying attention to on our watch list. So, yeah, shout out to VIP. What's up? Anyway, so as we look at this stuff, let's look at the flat top resistance. You guys know that, right? This specific feature here, flat top resistance, we know that that is a feature of the ascending triangle. So to the extent that we just pushed on the breakout of a wedge, just keep in mind, first of all, it's got some poor formation between the differentials between the 5-minute and the 1-minute on this specific. It's just we have variety on. We will always have variety. I think we can say this. We will always have variety on the different time frames. This is no exception. Okay. Now on the 1-minute here, part of the key feature here is that we have this ascending. Okay. Hit here. It's more recognized on the lines. We spent more time there on the 1-minute than the 5-minute. On the 5-minute, we have a flat top, essentially a flat top within a few dollars, right? So we're looking. Buyers have just become more bullish in terms of BTC. That's a big deal, guys. Buyers just became more bullish in terms of BTC. Wherein this previous, as we were to talk about this secondary bull flag after the first bull flag here, right? Descending triangle. Right now we have an ascending triangle. Descending triangle expectations, we moved down. Now we're in a bearish pattern as we were in a technical bearish pattern. I've kind of cautioned against the fact, like, can lightning just strike? It's not even like lightning striking. We're dealing with the probabilities. So, and this would be the way to frame this for everybody. If we're dealing with, and if you're new to VIP or to subscriber or anything else like that, and you're just hanging around the station, you'll figure it out real quickly. Me and this other guy out there, whoever just got kicked out of the show, it is nothing personal. I kick everybody out who just shows up and just annoys us or does anything like that. I make an invitation, spend the time to invite someone, and they either, they decide not to, or otherwise it's not a big deal. It rolls off my back. It's no big deal. You'll get used to it if you're around here. This is a bunch of jokers on the internet. That's why one of the big reasons we have the group is we don't like a bunch of jokers. Just, we like solid guys who want to trade and know how to trade. Like if you can book a trade, join. Like it's $100 a month. Can you book a trade for $100 a month? Right? If you can, then join. And I think everyone can. In terms of that, if you don't know how to, just pick up a book, spend some extra time. Don't listen to the next wrong opinion that you have to reckon with yourself somewhere else as you think through that wrong opinion or maybe that right opinion. Make sure you know how to qualify your decisions. How do you how to measure your own level of let's say worth in the market, in your own degree of technical acumen, etc. Your skill set in the market. Just do that. 2022. Make sure you can do that. Don't let anybody else be fully responsible for your success one way or the other, right? Success or your failure, right? Never be overexposed to any higher price. You guys know. Limit your involvement in something that's maybe highly risky, right, or volatile. If you want to trade a lot, I thought about this. Listen to this, VIP. This is very interesting. Huh? We're looking at the chart right now on BTC. I'll flip back over to Doge in a minute. Just check it out. In terms of we talked about those ascending. Now, this was one. Huh? Hey, very interesting. We're talking about that number 1, number 2, rising wedge feature here. Now, this is one, right, along the top, the preceding 65,000 in 2021. This was one you definitely wanted to still play the odds on, huh? So we talk about the probabilities. This was a nice wedge. It broke to the downside. And this was a really nice wedge, and that screened to the downside, right? We caught this top formation very, very nice. In addition, we caught this low in the back under the $30,000 ascending triangle. Boom. Nice move to the upside. What I thought, though, was this. If you were really structured in terms of your thinking, I thought of this today, and I was like, man, okay, just think of this. You decided 400 days ago to trade Bitcoin. Okay, 400 days ago, you decided to trade Bitcoin with one trade. Let's go with the example here real quickly. You'll appreciate this. You decided to go into Bitcoin with one trade. You bought and you sold. That was one trade. Then you decided to execute another trade. You bought and you sold. Now you're in the position that you probably bought again. Literally looking at this chart and knowing that over the last 400 days, you could have executed 1, 2 trades. Okay. As we look at the different charts, you guys know VIP are like, whoa, because we trade a lot. We like to trade. We like the interval patterns. These are kind of what we live for, though. But in terms of the cut, the take, the cut, let's say the exit, the entry, the exit, the entry, the exit. We like the exit, entry. It gets a little choppy. If you guys understand, that's a long time to stay out of a trade in this area. As we talk about those 2 features towards the top, I just thought 400 days, you could have had 2 trades. Ooh, man, that's uninteresting to some people. However, it's highly effective, right? You have to admit it's highly effective. However, you would have gotten washed out in some leverage trades. So it kind of forces you to trade a little bit, right? Unless you're just on spot. I think it's a very interesting approach that you could have just traded once, twice in the last 400 days on BTC and done well. By the way, you could have done really well measuring up from, let's just say you decide to get in there, 115%. Let's just say you decide to get in there, 128% over that, okay? And as you talk about leverage options, etc., right? Not options, not shorts, not, it's a lot less complicated than anyone gives it credit for. It's a lot less complicated. You guys need to know that. Some of the stuff's a lot less complicated. And no, we're not recommending everyone get into options on Bybit or whatever it may be. Man, there's a lot of upset people in the world today. I got to say that. I just know there's a lot of upset people in the world. The market is difficult enough without reminding people just to, don't be overexposed, right? Always be prepared to double down. And for those guys who are prepared to double down, then life is good, right? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And Slim is in the back. We'll say next time. I'm going to say that to Slim in the back. He's in the back DM right now talking about Doge. He's the Doge Terminator. Cool dude. Real cool dude. Great on charts. So looking at this specific framework, we have this original move to the upside, this wedge. I put it in the context of just what else can we do, guys? We know about those 2 wedges across the top on the daily at 65,000. So what else are we really going to do? Let's show us what BTC has shown us in the past. Let's discuss that. And what it just showed us here, we'll discuss that with the opportunity to get out and up potentially with the stop loss, right? It's essentially what you would do. Orders are lined up here. You guys know this. They are lined up here at that level of support. So it's not whether or not they are lined up. They are lined up. That's the one thing. It's like, just you can talk about whether the market didn't pick up my order. The solution to like the complaint would be like the market maker didn't pick me up. Well, okay, the solution is I got in anyway, right? Hit the button, you get in anyway, right? You don't want to sit there and just miss out on price action. You don't want to get in late, right? As we say, we want the trains that are boarding, not that are speeding by at like 200 miles an hour, right? As you look at like, whoa, it's a perfect train. I want to, I want that ride. It's going. Look how fast it's going. Well, you need to get into it when it's boarding, when it's stopped at the station and it's boarding. Bottom line, okay? Looking at this variable top level of resistance is interesting. I went over this with VIP a bit. You guys know there's a kind of a higher threshold that would be indicated here if we were to take off these specific wedges just for a moment for a point of consideration to look at that specific top line resistance here in line with these preceding moves here, right, which formulated that top line resistance, at least part of it, of that wedge in this area. Not to be overcomplicated at all, but it is worth discussing a generalized level of support and resistance on all your coins. That channel framework, we discussed that in detail yesterday in the stream, just to go over just the generalized function, allowing swing trades, etc. It's just find a channel that's expressive of all of the patterning. I say potentially any of the patterning dynamics as you traverse from a support line to a resistance or any portion within the pattern is channeling function. It's just a very, very normal part of the routine, and we would see a rising wedge as almost instrumental to any part of that specified channel framework. So, yeah, to the extent that we're up and out from this top line resistance, it's just guys, is if you want a clear cut, I'm looking for a 90% trade right now. Well, you ain't got it. I'm going to tell you, if you're looking for a 90% confirmation trade, you ain't got it. Okay, I'm going to say on that larger time frame. On the lower time frame, I'll say this: if we were to touch back into this line of support, right, you'd have a high probability trade of a bullish feature here. We have not capitulated so much on the 5 minute so as to disallow that. The 1 minute is formulating, as I talk about those perfect angles again that we started off the stream with. That 1 minute is formulating something really somewhat, let's say, somewhat interesting in terms of the triangulation, but really interesting in the context of what we went through in terms of like Ethereum being a little bit heavy towards the bottom. We don't want it to be heavy towards the bottom. We want it to be symmetrical. You guys got that, right? We want to be a symmetrical, to see a symmetrical triangulation there. Something that can, just indicate to all the traders that, hey, we're right within conformance of where we need to be. Some level of variability is permissible, and you're not going to be able to look at any one triangle and say, well, that's out of formation. That's definitely going to disappoint the traders. The variability is a rule that just keeps uncertainty in the mix. Uncertainty in the mix keeps risk in front of you and present in the market. If there were no risk, if there were no uncertainty, then there would be no there would be no market. That is the notion of the market. You've got buyers, you've got sellers, you've got demand, you've got risk. Okay, always you've got risk. That 5 minute time frame, very, very clean on that specific ascending triangle that we're watching. So I would encourage you guys to watch that 5 minute. It may play. I'll tell you, it may play on top of this specific line here. On top of this specific line, and we may get into this higher level function in terms of the specified. This is my preference, getting back up to that specified top level resistance and just pushing this wedge, because we didn't perform out, up, and above. I'll say this: we did not perform out, up, and above the line of resistance on this lower wedge. We have this first wedge, second wedge, right? We did not really traject up and above this rising wedge. We could have. I explained the fact that we could have. You guys know on your other coins, frequently we do. Frequently we find some degree of a trajectory up and above, right, the specific line of resistance. So we didn't here. It would be nice amidst at least one bullish pattern on, if not the minute, at least on the 5 minute potentially, as we would watch this. And don't think this is necessarily bearish, but it would definitely be that interesting, because the buyers will have to pick up a long preceding resistance to confirm it into support to complete this ascending triangle, right? Good stuff. Have we given up on the bull pennant, the micro pennant? Not necessarily, right? It lose after yesterday's discussion with dot, etc. I'm not sure we can even disqualify this in terms of a near perfect confirmation. We formulated. I'll go ahead and I'll give that to the analysis, okay? Because we did experience that yesterday on dot. You'll see imperfect, kind of an imperfect triangulation here that does decide to capitulate just a bit for now. We'll see. We'll view this as a nice confirmation, atypical, but not poorly formed in the context of the residual of the market and what the market has been expressing to us. Right, dot just did this on its takeoff from its bull flag, real strong grind in. This is on a more micro level, but something still noted. Right, see if Doge is doing anything that we need to take note of, and let me actually, as we look at now, the 5 minutes going to be crucial. That's going to be the save pattern, the 5 minute on BTC. Note that if you're trading, note the pickup, etc. The market has already noted that. I promise you guys, they picked up on it as quickly as we did. Maybe quicker because they don't have. I don't know. Well, we had to quicker because we have the group that's picking up on this stuff. So yeah, but we're live. But they're always, day traders are consistently assessing their positions, and it's many people will have split screens or multiple screens. With different time frames. You guys know that. So we'll we catch it as quickly as anybody. This on Doge on the right is just pushed on along. You guys know that created kind of a dynamic here of a cross trend line. Just interesting to note. It's not dispositive whatsoever, but Doge is not really wanting to give up on that secondary level of the Fibonacci. So nice trade day yesterday for Doge, up really nicely from its bottom line threshold. Not super aggressive pricing, but something we're paying attention to is we got some Doge fans in the house. People like to trade Doge. LRC moving nice, still on LRC, not doing poorly, and let's see. Oh, we got to check out RebelBots. Oh, RebelBots. What's RebelBots? 30x coin. 30x coin. Pushing now in terms of its triangulation. Now it's pushing into, I suppose, a furtherance of a triangulation. Very interesting. Unfortunately, it looks like it's close to having this, and I guess should have noted this. Without the hitch here in the beginning, may have a descension to it. May have a descension in terms of the triangulation to it. Let me go to the lower time frame just because I want to check this very, very carefully. It's a slight ascension. Okay, it's a slight ascension. Let me just check this. 30x coin, we're going to cover it, guys. Without a doubt, we're going to cover it. It's gonna be a fact of being VIP. So we do have a slightly ascending line in terms of that bottom line formation, including this hitch as well, which the market's going to want to try and do. We still have not given up on RebelBots to the extent that they were to have 3L and 3S, though. That could become interesting right now. VIP, pay attention, right? Because we may have a little bit more of a flat line than I anticipated along the bottom. It still is ascending, but it's perfectly fit within the context of the Ethereum discussion, etc. As this begins to push down, even with that subsequent hit. Not something I picked up on necessarily yesterday, but in the context of the discussion today, I think it's merited. Definitely not, as we look at the true representation here of the price action on that 30x coin, which has just recently hit the market, NFT. We do have, I'd say, fairly, we have this going on with the triangulation after we really have pushed, right? We did. For the record, we had this going on. I recall now, okay? We had this going on with it. Yes, definitely the ascending framework there. But I guess we didn't look at whether or not, and I should have, in all fairness, just reminded me so much of Gala. The break to the downside, that move to the upside. Gala did the same thing on its, I think, primary was that bull pennant in 2021. So that just reminded me a lot of it. So looking at that, if any VIP did trade that yesterday at all, that was a 25% move after that recoup. So congrats to anybody who traded that in VIP. Way to go. Not unfamiliar territory in terms of the patterning that we would look at right now on Doge. Certainly the move to the upside, were we to measure, what if we just measure the entirety of this? You guys have the specific targets in the back, without a doubt. But if Doge wants to get real aggressive on this specific preceding repeat of that preceding move, about 11% move. not too bad. As we would look at the 5 minute, still trying to hold. And yeah, there we go. Potentially into another kind of flag formation would be very nice to see on BTC. So always kept USDT.D on my second screen. Saw an ascending triangle on 1 minute. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Boom. That's nice. That's very nice, Pathfinder. Pathfinder looking at USDT.D. That makes a difference, doesn't it? Man, that's a step ahead, brother. Very, very nice done. Okay, so looking at the isn't that nice? You saw the ascending on the 1 minute on USDT.D, USDT dominance. Well, it didn't give us a real clear descending triangle. Close, right? A little bit of an off kilter in terms of the specified or required or expected framework of the triangulation. So cool. Cool stuff. Nice work, Pathfinder. Nice trades. Nice trade skills. Very, very cool. So let's see what we got, guys. It's 9 o'clock. We've been streaming for maybe a couple hours or so. This is London. I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to be in the back. I want to go to the back and chill out with the VIP, kind of relax. Wanted to stream a little bit earlier. We may try this again. Maybe I'll get up a little earlier, go hit the iron, and make this a little bit more of a frequent venture in terms of us trying to stream earlier in the day, so we can stay. I don't know, stay prepared or wrap our mind around a few technicals and stay in a little bit of the limelight or the daylight for some of the VIP who need to schedule in for the specific trades or the specific, streams, as we would see them needing to maybe accommodate a work or family or something like that situation. If you guys are not VIP yet, we encourage you to be VIP, because that just lets us know that you care about where you're at, right? It's real easy. There's a bunch of trash on the internet. We try everything. Irrespective of anyone's past here, we try very, very hard. I say that out of a joke and in reality. It doesn't. We don't care if you whatever you had an awful divorce and the whole neighborhood figured out about if you like to trade, you're fine. It's like you brought 4 women home in a car, you had been up all night. Well, okay, fine. Just if you're you got a divorce and the whole neighborhood or everyone knows about what happened. Fine. We're not choir boys, as Angel says. We're also not misbehaviors on purpose. Generally speaking, we don't misbehave on purpose. Things in life happen. We don't expect people to be perfect. But what I will say is that we just like to have a good place where people kind of want to be in a family-friendly environment for the most part, and that people care about trading. It's not the typical, jump into a room with internet, just potential, to us, trash is defined as things that seriously detract from our ability to focus on crypto. We like serious traders. We like serious investing. We like the strategies that go behind it, and we like to frame it in a professional context in terms of the strategies and technical analysis that we use. That is critically important to success. We believe that, and we reinstill that on a literal daily basis. So this is not just the hype club. Everybody get on board. We're going to the moon. Let's do it. That's fun. We'll have those days. That's fine. But in the back, while we're doing that, in the back, we will be going over TA, right? We'll be going over technical analysis, like bringing up, classical features of real TA, cutting specific videos to the VIP on where we're at, where we're going, what's going on, the threshold, resistance, support, etc. Going through all the details. That's how we try and separate ourselves from, and we do separate ourselves from the quote-unquote competition, because we don't think we have any. And we appreciate a big reason for that is you guys, and I appreciate you very much at the VIP. So this is London. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'll be plugged in the back without a doubt. Would like to see, ideally, guys, if we could repeat this move to the upside, just for the record, if we could repeat this move to the upside in terms of this micro pennant and buck the trend on this ascending wedge, which we just literally had one. Okay, we just literally had an ascending wedge which capitulated. If we can buck that trend, if we can, okay, we will be up and out. If we complete the previous move to the upside, we will be, as a matter of fact, up and out of this line of resistance on the candle wicks. That, my friends, is a big deal. Okay, so that is a very big deal. Please keep an eye on that. I will bring to your attention, just so that you understand, that a hit up and over to that extent would also give us a near equivalent move to the upside, with this preceding zone right at the 45,429. So the plot thickens. Breakout trade with an equivalent lateral preceding high barrier. All right? It's not hopeless. Don't overcomplicate your trades. Buy at support, sell at resistance. Trade your patterns and hit your targets. If you don't know what any one of those components is, continue to watch the streams. Join VIP, etc. Rely on your fellow VIP, or just get the books we talk about and read 20 pages. You'll start to know what we're discussing. Buy at support, sell at resistance, right? Support, resistance, right? In the midst of a breakout, you may complicate that equation slightly. I'll just tell you, you may complicate that equation just slightly as you look at a different time frame that has you already up and out, right? And maybe another time frame doesn't have you up and out, right? So you may be at a threshold, or on another time frame, on one time frame where you're over the threshold, right? We kind of started the stream like that. You want the most aggressive time frame? Go to the 30-minute right now on BTC. You want the most conservative time frame? Go to the hourly right now and draw your specific line of resistance right now and trade it. The hourly versus the 30-minute. Okay? On the 30-minute, you're up and out. We have broken out on the lines. On the hourly, you're still contained within the resistance. So, thus is the market. Risk. You're going to have it. Differentiations, mixed signals amongst the time frames, amidst the traders. Okay? The more risk that we can eliminate through proper TA, the higher the probability of winning. No risk. Hey, guaranteed deal, right? So we spend a lot of time to do that. I'll be in the back with the VIP. We'll cut a video later as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Getting the stream done just a little bit early. One final shout out to Pathfinder, Slim, Luke, everybody else in the back. Craig, what's up? Vlad, what's up, my man? Brad, what's up? AJ Crypto in the house. Also to Angel on the top, my brother. It's great to have you in VIP and to have you as a friend and a brother.